Once you've accessed the Amazon AWS IoT platform, the first thing you're going to do is want to create a thing. So to create a thing, you have to give it a good name. I chose to call my thing my new thing. For now, you can leave all the other fields blank and go on to next. Then you need to create a certificate. Once certificates are ready, you're going to want to download all 4 certificates, including the root CA file for Amazon AWS IoT. This step is very important because you're going to need these credentials to be able to access or connect to the MQTT broker. The last file is kind of tricky, so you might want to save the link as and save the file instead. Then after this step, the next thing you might want to do is to activate the certificate. Once the certificate is done, you can go on to click on done, which will take you back to the 10th screen. The next step is to create a policy. A policy simply specifies the parameters or the you can call it the specifications within which your thing can be accessed. I went on to call mine my new things policy. Under action, you're going to want to select all the actions under IoT, which is signified by the IoT :*. Under resources, you may not want to limit, so you might put a wildcard there too if you want. For effect, choose allow and then go on to create. Once your new policy is ready, the next thing to do is to head on back to your certificate and then attach your thing and your policy to your certificate. Once those two are attached, the next step is to test for connectivity. The AWS platform comes with an inbuilt test platform that allows you to subscribe and publish your topics. But to test the system remotely, we're going to use a different application called MQTT. The setup is as shown on the screen. You need the broker address, which you can access from the ACT. So that right there is the address that you're going to need. You're going to want to copy that and put that in your MQTT software under the broker address. Because Amazon AWS site supports only SSL, the default port is going to be 8883. As for client ID, you can generate a new one. The credential uses SSL/TLS, so you're going to want to select that tab. The default version should be version 1.2. Then you're going to have to provide the CA file, the certificate, and then the private key file. Once you provide all that information, you can go on to connect. You should see the connectivity button turn green once you are connected. Then you can go on to play around with the tool, publish some topics and subscribe to some topics just to get a feel of how the system works. So for this test, I created a topic called my first thing /test. So in MQTT, I was publishing to that topic, and in the inbuilt MQTT client in AWS IoT, I subscribed to that same topic. So when I published hello world, you see that it came up as a published piece of data in the inbuilt client. Likewise, you could publish from the inbuilt client and subscribe to same in the MQTT It's the same thing. This step is very important because it's the step that actually shows that you are able to successfully connect using the credentials that you have. If you've been observing the screen, you realize that there's some text marked up in the green background having something to do with a JSON string. So what happens is the MQTT broker from AWS supports JSON data by default because Amazon is expecting you to be able to do so much more with the data. So the convention is to send the data in JSON format, so it is serialized and standardized, so data can be retrieved and used for so many other things, and I'll demonstrate that in other sections of this video. Right now, once you have data coming in, to make something work with it, you need to go to the Act menu and create a new rule. For the purpose of this demonstration, I created a new rule called IoT to Dynamo. And what we're going to do is we are going to store the data that is published via the MQTT broker. We're going to take that data and store it in a DynamoDB database. DynamoDB is another data storage database management system by Amazon as part of the AWS suite of applications. In providing the various information, you're going to want to follow the exact steps as I provided. If you gain enough competence in doing this, you can provide specific information. For the attribute, to provide a wildcard again to select everything. For the topic filter, I decided to use the same topic I was publishing to when I was doing the test with MQTT. For action, we chose to save the data into the DynamoDB table. You'd have to create a table resource if you don't have one. So when you click on that, it opens a screen that allows in DynamoDB that allows you to create a new table, which can be used to store the data that you published to some MQTT topic. The table name chosen here was IoT sensor data, and the partition key was simply given a name timestamp, what you call in other database management systems the primary key. I will talk more about this in the next few seconds. Okay, now let's finish up the setup of this action. So I provided the timestamp as a primary key. Now for the timestamp, the system has an inbuilt variable that puts Unix timestamp as the value of the field, the primary key. So because these are sensor data reported in real time, anytime the data comes in, I save it in the database with the current timestamp that is provided with the variable provided in that field. Now you're going to need something called an IAM rule name what it basically is similar to a database user with the permissions to access or do something to the database management system. If you don't have one, you're going to have to create a new role. In this instance, I created one and I assigned it to this particular action. But after this next step, I'm going to have to modify the permissions of this particular role to be able to access the DynamoDB database like we would want it to. To do this, you need to access the IAM service as part of the Amazon AWS platform. You head over to roles. The new role you created should be there. Once I select the role, you're going to want to attach a policy, the Amazon DynamoDB full access policy, which has already been attached for this user. You can search for same like it's been done on the screen right now. Then when you find it, you can attach the policy and it should show up just like it's showing up right here. This is the exact permission that you need to be able to make it work. So once this is done, you can head back to your tables, and once you are publishing data, it should show up in the tables like how it's been represented here. So from your Photon, when you publish the data and it gets to the Amazon IoT core, the action that you've attached to this particular MQTT service will take the data that you published and put it in the database like it is shown here right now. I've been running my service for some time, so you can see that there are several rows of data available.